NFL Network insider Ian Rapoport. Rap Sheet, great to see you in this forum. How are you? I've missed you.
I'm great to see you again. Now, I will say, to be fair, I didn't know it was you right off the bat. I just thought it was one of my many fans I wanted to be nice to in public. But I was happy to see you and your family along with me and my family. Passed you by real quick, but it was a nice hello.
It was a nice hello. And I have to imagine when that happens to you, as you said, with the fans, people oftentimes just yell teams at you because they want information, they want it quickly. So let's just try that on for size. Rap Sheet, Eagles. Dallas Goedert, A.J. Brown, what is happening with my team, let's say, if you were an Eagles fan? What's up with them?
Yeah, we'll start with the Dallas Goedert part because that is the most recent, that is the newest news. Late yesterday afternoon, Dallas Goedert, 31-year-old tight end, who's been with the Eagles his entire career, won a Super Bowl with the Eagles, agreed to terms on a one-year, $7 million deal. Exactly what happened. But the reason why this was a conversation, along with Goedert being a good player, is this was tied directly to the A.J. Brown situation as well, with many people thinking, okay, well, if they let Dallas Goedert walk, then they potentially that involves, all right, maybe A.J. Brown stays. If they keep Goedert, maybe A.J. Brown goes. My understanding is there's been no official change in the Brown situation, but I think for the Eagles, Kyle, Dallas Goedert being back is a big-time move for their offense.
I love this move. We're going to talk about it shortly for all kinds of reasons. If you watch the Eagles games, you can tell why I love this move. But let's get back, Ian. What we're doing right now, if you're the Eagles, if you're Howie, you're grocery shopping, right? And if they just spent the money on the ground beef, do you also want to buy the strip steak? And can you afford to buy the strip steak? What I want is go deeper on what this means for A.J. Brown. Is he going to be an Eagle in 2026?
Yeah, good question, because that's really, Kyle, the other big part of this thing. Because the void date got moved back so many times, people assume that, all right, it is one for the other. First of all, a problem here, and the reason why the cap number was such a big thing, if the Eagles traded A.J. Brown now, it would be $40 million gets accelerated into their cap in dead money. If they do it after June 1st, it's just $20 million. That's $20 million less. That is a lot of money. So actually, it makes sense for the Eagles if they are going to trade A.J. Brown, which, again, there was momentum to do at various times here. Trading him after June 1st makes sense. What that means is it wouldn't be 2026 draft picks if he was traded. It would be 2027. I mean, the cap hit would be less. It would also mean that we might be talking about A.J. Brown into June, which is okay because you don't play games until, like, September. So if A.J. Brown was traded to, let's say, the Patriots in June, it would be the same result as now, except, we'd get 2 more extra months to talk about it.
I've never been more annoyed with somebody reminding me that we don't play games till September. Honestly, Rap Sheet, it's not what I wanted to hear in the middle of March. That's way too long of a wait. But until then, Ian Rapoport, thank you. You're all knowing, and we really appreciate all of those layers to the Eagles offense, because what we can't avoid looking at year-round, Willie Colon, is A.J. Brown, whether he is on the sideline, on the field, and even the situation as it unfolds here in March of 2026 with the wide receiver. Willie, what do you think of this? And now knowing that what the Eagles have invested, at least with Dallas Goedert, what they know they have with Devontae Smith and Jalen Hurts, what do you think about A.J. Brown and what the Eagles are currently sitting with right now?
Well, I know this may be an unpopular opinion.
I like it already. What do you got, Willie? Do it.
But I wouldn't let go of A.J. Brown,
okay,
man. And I don't know if the Eagles are prepared to see A.J. Brown walk out of the building. If you lose A.J. Brown, you lose your fear factor, right? And you're talking about a guy who can still get it done when you need him. He makes this offense instantly better when he's humming at a high level. You're going into the season with a duct tape offensive line. You need answers and you need weapons. You don't need to lose A.J. Brown. I think the Eagles need to make it work with A.J. Brown.
Willie, I agree with you as far as A.J. Brown and him being a weapon on the football field. If I'm Howie Roseman, I have to ask myself, is A.J. Brown at this point a necessity or is he a luxury? And it's like when you put those rims on that car, it looks nice, but it changes the ride. And sometimes, when you're on the highway, you're on the 405 and going 75 miles per hour, it's smooth, everything is good. And you're winning games, but then you're going to ask yourself, and I'm sure he's asking himself at this point, guys, Jamie, is it worth having these rims on there right now, or do I go back to the stops?
Pat, I hear nice rims, and then I think of Philadelphia, and I think about how hard it is to parallel park in Philadelphia. And you don't want to ding those rims. You don't want to ding those rims when you're backing in, and you're like, oh, God, I just scratched the side. That's it's tough. It is tough. You know what else is? Trying to understand what happened in free agency. Guys were moved, and then they weren't, and then there were no comments made, but we need all the comments from teams that are involved ball. For example, the Las Vegas Raiders were massive players, very involved during free agency frenzy, adding the likes of Tyler Linderbaum, Goedert, Quay Walker, and then the Max Crosby deal falls through with the Baltimore Ravens. So, Manti, I ping back to you. Where does Vegas go from here? How do you feel about them today?
Well, I think what Tom Brady and them have done so far with the Raiders, it just goes to show that Tom Brady and them know what they want to do. And now you just got a blessing in disguise. If you look at it that way, I think it is, and Max Crosby coming back to the Raiders. It's funny when I look at the game of football and you're trying to structure this team, right, Willie? It's the outside positions that get the most money, but you're only as good as the positions in the middle of your team. If you don't have a center, if you don't have a quarterback, if you don't have a safety, if you don't have two Mike linebackers or two middle linebackers, you won't be that good. And what they do is they go and they sign Quay Walker and Nakobe Dean. They sign Tyler Linderbaum. They're going to draft the quarterback, and I'm sure they're going to draft the safety. And you're just so blessed to have somebody like Max Crosby, who's been one of the biggest cultural pieces for the Raiders. One of those guys that when these young cats come in, that you're trying to build a culture and build a franchise around. You say, hey, look at Max Crosby and do it exactly how he's doing it. I think it's such a blessing for the Raiders to have that come back. If that's how they see it, that's how I see it, because it's a nightmare, Willie, to kind of try to structure a game plan after number 98.
I get it. I get it, man, Ty. I think if you're Clint Kubiak, you just left the most complete team in football. And right now, you have to figure out, how can I get this outfit, this Raider team, to be the most complete team going into 2026? Now, I get the vision, right? You want to be more tough. You want to be more tough. You want to have an incredible outfit. You also want a team right now that can compete. I get all that, but I think the next big acquisition for the Raiders is who's going to be the bridge quarterback? Who's going to be the guy that's going to usher Mendoza into the future with structure? Because if you got this defense who's going to potentially be the face of the team, led by Max Crosby, you're going to need an old man in the building that can help this young man become a legit quarterback, especially for a Raiders that's on the offensive side deficient in a lot of areas. I like the fact that they got Linderbaum. You needed a guy that can help you drive the ship. They still get the answers on the outside at receiver position. They have to find a way to get Ashton Genty to be more effective in the offense along with Brock Bowers. But right now, if you're Clint Kubiak, and you're the powers to be like Jason Spacek, they have a vision. This thing is going to be built brick by brick. And one of the bricks they need to figure out is who's going to be that next quarterback to help this young quarterback be the best version of himself, KB.
You need the Case Keenum type, like it was with Caleb Williams, like Obi-Wan Kenobi, and maybe they'll get that. They also have, a part owner who's played some good football at quarterback and won 7 Super Bowls, so maybe that'll be part of it. But more interesting, I want to bring you guys in on something. And Jamie, I know you were lamenting earlier in the show about Rap Sheet saying how long it is till we get a game. It's like 6 months or something. Fear not, because the day that the Ravens backed out of the Max Crosby trade was 10 times more exciting than the Super Bowl this year. I'm telling you, that was not a great Super Bowl, watchability-wise. I'm telling you, that was why we do what we do, because it was not only better than a game, it was better than the Super Bowl. I was more riveted by that. And to this point, so here's an interesting thing. Last week, we talked tons of Max Crosby, tons of Ravens, tons of Raiders. Meanwhile, just a little tangential, last week, at the end of the week, I went down to Nashville and I was part of an event for the Tennessee Titans, which maybe I'll talk about later, okay? But I'm saying this for a reason. I'm flying back from Nashville after a whole week of Max Crosby, Ravens and Raiders talk, and I get an Instagram DM.
Oh.